Hello, my name is Keshwani. This Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 195. Day 195, we are in the process of solving word problems from day 101 through 200. And today is our 95th day of solving a word problem. The problem for today is already on the blackboard. Let's read it together. It says the difference between two numbers is 26. Now before I forget it, after we finish doing this problem, I want you to go back and compare the problem that we're doing today, right now, with the problem that we did yesterday on day number 194. I want you to compare the two after you finish this one. The difference between the two numbers is 26. We are further told that if we were to add 2, if 2 is added to the greater number, the result obtained is a number that is 3 times the smaller number. So we have two numbers. We are told that their difference is 26. We are further told that if we were to add 2 to the greater number, what we'll have on our hand is a quantity which is going to be 3 times the smaller number. The question simply is, what are the numbers? Pause the video, solve it yourself first before you watch the rest of the video. Here's the solution. Let's pretend that the greater number is G. Let's call the greater number G, letter G, G for greater. If that were the case, then that would imply that the smaller number must be, implies, this means implies, an implication. If G is the greater number, then that would imply that the smaller number must be 26 less than the greater number, because their difference is 26. The smaller number must be 26 less than G, or G minus 26. Whatever the quantity G is, if you take away 26 from it, that must be the small number. No, here is our equation. So that's the first sentence. All of this came from the first sentence. Now we have to work on the second sentence. If 2 is added to the greater number, so we take the greater number and we add 2 to it, what would happen if we were to add 2 to the greater number? If 2 is added to the greater number, the result obtained is a number that is, how do you translate all that in the language of algebra? All of that is translated in the language of algebra as simply an equal sign. The result obtained is a number that is what? That is 3 times the smaller number, which is this, G minus 26. Voila. That's it. The rest is downhill. This is the most important part. This is the most important ingredient of solving any algebra problem, which is making sure that the equation that you came up with is in fact the right one. So the greater number is G. That's what we're calling it. So G plus 26, G plus 2 rather, equals 3 times G minus 26. Or better yet, I could have actually taken care of that part right here instead of adding one more step to it. So 3 times G is 3G, And 3 times 26, how much is 3 times 26? How the hell do I know what 3 times 26 is? I do know what 3 times 25 is. 3 times 25 is 75. And since 26 is only one more, therefore 3 times 26 must be 78. Because instead of 3 25s, we have 3 26. Or rather 3 26s if you like, if you want to be pedantic. Oh boy, I don't know if we ever learned that word. I'm going to digress here for a second. I'm looking for a word that I just used in a sentence. I don't want to brush it off. There's too many words with letter P, and pedantic does not seem to be there, which is strange. That is peculiar. Let's learn that word, shall we? And in the future video, in case you're wondering what I'm babbling about right now, just like you're watching right now the video on algebra, I have also put together some videos on vocabulary to help you improve your vocabulary, particularly if you're preparing, if you're going to sit in the near future for GRE, GMAT, SAT or TOEFL. It is important, it is vital, it's imperative that you have a decent vocabulary. And for that reason, I have put together some vocabulary videos, and I thought I had covered the word pedantic in one of the videos, and I'm looking through my list here whether or not I've done so. It's not here. Pedantic is the word, which simply means to be overly scholarly, to show off one's learning, to be excessively show off in one's learning. I know show off is a very colloquial term, but I'm using it here anyway. Well, that's another word. Jeez, this is never going to end. There we go. Colloquial means informal speech. We learned it on day number 5. Day number 5. Just type in Keshwani Prep -vocab -day 5 and you will learn the word colloquial. Pedantic is not there, so I have to make sure that I cover it in the future. So far, as I speak right now, I have 73 videos that I have put together on vocabulary, and I will work on some more as soon as I finish with this project. It is almost done. We are on day number 195, and I have 5 more to go. So, anyway, I forgot how I used the word pedantic a little while ago, more than 5 minutes ago. I've been standing here babbling. How did I use the word? Oh yes, how much is 3 times 26? I don't know how much 3 times 26 is, but I do know that 3 times 25 is 75, and since 26 is one more than 25, therefore it should be 78. Because 325s are 75, therefore 326 must be 78. And then I corrected myself by saying that if you want to be pedantic, if you want to be overly scholarly, if you want to be overly proper, then I should have said in that case not 326 but rather 326s. If you wish to be, if you're hell bent on being pedantic, that is 3 times 26 is 78. You need to bring all the g's on one side, all the unknowns, and all the known quantity on the other side. Now, listen carefully. If you're going to bring this 3g on this side, that 3g will end up being a negative coefficient. This is only 1g, positive 1g, and a negative 3g. You're going to end up in a negative coefficient of the unknown. I don't like that. Let's leave the 3g there. Let's leave the g's there. Bring this g over there to the right hand side, and let's bring this number over here, which will also serve the purpose of making that number positive. Negative 78, by the time you bring it here, it's going to become positive 78. So let's do all of that. So let's subtract g from both sides, and let's add 78 to both sides. So here we have a positive g and a negative g. They cancel out. 78 plus 2 is 80, and that equals 3g positive 3g and a negative g gives us 2g's, and this negative 78 and a positive 78 will cancel out. 2g's equal 80, therefore g must be 40. Notice how I switched the directions at the very end. The convention dictates that we always put our unknown on the left hand side, because English language is read from left to right. If you were to write this as, instead of writing it like this, had I written it like this, this would sound very awkward. It's bloody awkward to go around saying 40 equals g. 40 does not equal g. It is not 40 that equals g. It is the g that equals 40. Do you understand? So because we read from left to right, convention dictates that I put the unknown quantity on the left hand side, so that it is easier to read. So if you want to put the unknown quantity on the right hand side for the sake of convenience, like we did, which is fine, but always remember in the very last step to make the switch to honor the convention. Okay? So greater number equals 40. Now we have to find the smaller number, which is very simple because the small number is right here. The small number is 26 less than the greater number. If g is 40, then 40 minus 26, the small number is 14. The smaller number is 14. That's all. This implies that the small number equals 14. Because it's 26 less. I'm not doing it out again, it's right there. That's it, we're done. What I want to do now is to redo the whole problem by looking at the world, by looking at the universe from the point of view of not the greater number, but the smaller number. In this solution, we looked at the world, we looked at our universe. The center of the universe was g, the greater number, and we ask ourselves, how does the small number compare to the large number? How does the small number compare to the large number? Well, the small number is 26 less than the large number. We could have asked ourselves, how does the large number compare to the small number? If somebody asks you if the difference between the two numbers is 26, if the difference between, listen carefully, if the difference between the two numbers is 26, and if somebody approaches you and asks you, how does the large number compare to the small number? You would say, well, large number is 26 more than the small number. And if somebody were to come to you and ask you, well, how does the small number compare to the large number? You would say, smaller number is 26 less than the large number. I hope I said it right. Obviously I have no way of listening to it. So how does the large number compare to the small number? The large number is 26 more than the small number, which is why it's called a large number. How does the small number compare to the large number? Well, the small number is 26 less than the large number. Both of those statements are equally correct, and we could have solved the problem looking at the world from either point of view. I want to redo it by looking at the world not from the point of view of the large number, but from the point of view of the small number. I need the room, so I need to erase everything. Here's the solution from the previous one. Everything is going to go now. And we're going to redo it. And we're going to pretend we're going to start out by giving a name to the small number. Here we go. That's it. Let's pretend that the small number is s. If that were the case, if the small number is s, then the greater number must be, that would imply that the greater number must be 26 more. I cannot write, my handwriting is, I was going to say horrendous, but I don't want to be too generous with it, so I'm not going to say horrendous. Atrocious is probably more like it. The greater number must be 26 more than S, or S plus 26. That's your greater number. The greater number must be whatever that small number is, which we are calling S, and a 26 more than that. That's all. 26 plus S. Now here's our equation. We are told that if you were to add 2 to the greater number, so here's your greater number, and if you were to add 2 to it, what we will have, the result obtained is a number that's this part. The result obtained is a number that is, all of that translates to equal sign. All of this translates to equal signs. So here's your greater number, and if we were to add 2 to it, if 2 is added to the greater number, this is your greater number, and if you were to add 2 to it, what we will have is 3 times the small number. 3 times the small number. How much is the greater number? The greater number is S plus 26. S plus 26 plus 2 equals 3 S's. So that gives us S plus 28 equals 3 S's. Subtract S from both sides to get rid of the S. So here we have a positive S, here we have a negative S, they cancel out. And positive 3S and a negative S gives us 2 S's equal 28. And if 2 of them equal 28, one must equal 14. That implies that S equals 14. S equals 14 is exactly what we found in our previous method. Now if S equals 14, then the large number, which is 26 plus S, or S plus 26, S equals 14, so it must be 14 plus 26, or 40. And S is 14. That is exactly what we found in our previous method. So there were 2 different ways of looking at the word, and which one is the right method, which one is more proper, which one is more correct? The answer is they're equally correct. Half the people in the world, half the mathematicians, half the algebra teacher, when you give them this problem, will solve it looking from the point of view of the large number. And the other half probably will solve it by looking at it from the point of view of the small number. The same person might do it 2 different methods on 2 different days. It depends on your mood. It all depends on whatever comes to you first. Do you understand? You give me the same exact problem, I might do it one way, and the exact same problem, half an hour later, if I have to do it again, I might do it in a different way, quite inadvertently, not by plan, not by design, quite inadvertently. I might forget how I did it the first time. I do it a different way. There are 2 different ways here. Do you understand? And you must understand and appreciate both point of views. Don't be like a machine where this is the right way and oh my god, I forgot how to do it. There is no such thing. In mathematics, there is no such thing as oh my god, how I forgot it. Or how I forgot how to do that. Students say that to me all the time. It's a skill. Mathematics, algebra is a skill, which is why you must practice. The more you practice, the better you get at it. And a skill is not something that people, no one would complain, oh my god, I forgot it. One does not forget how to ride a bicycle. Once one learns it, one does not forget it. Do you understand? Anyway, enough of that. I'm done with the sermon. I will see you tomorrow on day number 196. We have 5 more problems to go before I'm done with the project. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?